Okay. Well, Melanie's running a little bit late, so I'm going to go ahead and kick us off tonight. It is 7:01 p.m. on August 20th, 2015, and we will go ahead and call the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting to order for this evening. First thing on our agenda is citizens communication. The commission welcomes comment on Parks and Recreation items not already scheduled on tonight's agenda. In accordance with the Texas Attorney General's opinion, any public comment that is made on an item that is not on the published agenda will only be heard by the commission. No formal action, discussion, deliberation, or comment will be made by the commission. Each person providing public comment will be limited to 3 minutes and will be asked to state his or her name and address for the public record. Any citizen communication? Moving right along. The next item on our agenda is approval of the minutes. We will discuss and consider action to approve the minutes from the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting on July 16th, 2015.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The minutes are approved. And the next item that we have is item number 4 for discussion only. And the first item will be the director's updates. Turn it over to you, James.
Good evening. You want to see if we can get done before Melody gets here?
I know. I was curious if we could.
Very light agenda, as I was telling Brett earlier. We had some things in flux, some parkland dedication items that we thought would come, but then just weren't ready. So we just really didn't have much. And then I sent out the email about the couple items that were requested at last meeting. So very light agenda, but you know, it's the summer, or winding down the summer. So
You like it?
That's
you like it? Okay,
know.
we'll try to keep it light.
Nobody's complaining. It's okay.
It's like, I like it too.
So if you look in your packets, as always, project status report. Not a whole lot of change, but there's enough change that I will want to note a few things. Pflugerville Heights and Black Locust Parks, they're probably, if you don't count the playgrounds and the pavilions themselves, we're probably 75-80% complete on the park. The playgrounds and pavilions for both parks will be going in starting next week. After that, really what's outstanding is topsoil and putting down seed, and then really cleaning everything up. The projects should be complete in about 30 days. I've got a few pictures. These are from today. So this is Pflugerville Heights from, was it Howland? Well, Stevie Ray and Howland something intersection. You can see the landscapes in, all the flat works in, the playground areas are ready for the playgrounds. We've got all the side amenities in the background. You can kind of see some benches and picnic tables. The pet waste station. This is from the other side. So again, the playground areas are just ready for the playgrounds to be installed.
The fountain on that
Drinking fountain?
Yep.
Yes,
It's there. I saw it.
It is. So you see the picnic table in the picture?
Mm-hmm.
Those are kind of cabled to the drinking fountain.
Very
So
cool.
the drinking fountain is in. And then that...
Half a melody.
Exactly. She'll be happy.
She'll be got it.
You can see a
So-
trash receptacle right by that tree, so all the side amenities are basically in.
Yeah.
On to Black Locust Park, again, this is the larger park of the two. Looks a lot the same. We've got the landscape in, except for the topsoil and seed irrigations in. Side amenities installed, again, just waiting on the playgrounds and the pavilion to be installed.
Now, on that last picture, it shows the no dumping sign right in the
Yep.
middle of our beautiful
Mhm.
new landscaping. Are we going to remove that?
Do you want?
Since it's not a blank field anymore?
I guess we can.
That'd be lovely.
I've already.
Oh, you already did that? Okay. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's literally right in the middle of that landscape bed. and
Yeah,
it's
it
kind of
is. It's
leaning
like,
to one side. And, yeah, it's no longer
It's
needed.
different when it was an empty lot.
Right.
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, no, that'll be removed probably next week.
Okay, awesome.
Another shot, just the other side. Here's a little bit close up of the playground areas. Obviously, everything will be cleaned up, but like I said, about 30 days, these projects will be done. We have kind of started talking about doing a ribbon cutting. We will try to do something for sure for these projects.
I did have a question on Pflugerville, the Pflugerville Heights.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that was originally designed to, the walkway to look like a guitar strings, is paint or something going to be on that to, show that that's what that is?
So I don't have a close-up of it, but you can kind of see some of the light spots that look like lines.
Yeah, that they made
All the
lines?
cuts are in that show the frets of the guitar and the circles.
Okay,
We just didn't have the money in the budget to pay for an alternate, which was actually doing the stain on those, the actual frets themselves.
okay,
We may try to do that in the future.
okay.
I'm not able to do it with this project just because we are really right on the line with it. But we might try to do that. The concrete's not going to be sealed or anything, so it will accept stain in the future if we get to it pretty quick. So we're gonna try to look and see if we can add that. We just couldn't get it in with the, yeah, and so all the like I said, the
What about
frets
paint?
and well, it's stain is what you use. Really, the paint is it's not anything you use because it will create a smooth surface. So it's a stain that's actually applied that the concrete
Oh,
absorbs.
okay. 'Cause
provide
this
the
paint
color.
is slick?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, it's not something we can just go paint. But we're going to look at trying to add that. And let's see, you can kind of see in the back here at Black Locust, you can see the irrigation laid out and some of the trees planted, and then just some buffer landscape around the neighbor's fence here. So again, we're about 30 days out on those projects, and we'll be letting you know as we schedule ribbon cutting. Bond projects, design started for trails and undeveloped parks. Basically kind of the same as what I said last month, but we should be getting to the first phase. We're calling it a preliminary engineering report. It's again where we look at all the environmental and look at the overall master plan and determine what we can and cannot move forward with for various reasons. Those should be complete probably before our next meeting, so we'll have some stuff to share on those projects. Sports complex, we're still looking for land. It's moving pretty quick. Hoping to have some information for y'all in the very near future. Swenson Farms Trail Project, again, kind of what was discussed at the last meeting. We have received approval to proceed, and we're working on surveying right now. Once survey is complete, then a project schedule will be established. I'm hoping that project schedule will be established in the next couple of weeks, and I'll relay that information once I get it. But definitely by the next meeting, we should have a full project schedule and know kind of how the project's going to lay out. Thing parking lot, we're still under design. We're about 90% complete now on plans. We're actually going through a site development process, and we'll be meeting next week with city staff to kind of review the site development plans. We have ordered the restroom structure. Again, it's kind of a prefab building that's basically constructed off-site and then brought in by a crane and set down. So that we've already we have ordered that, and they're getting ready to start that pretty soon, and then we're working to have that complete by early 2016.
Does it already have the pad included? So it's everything?
Slab and everything.
Slab and everything.
Basically, there will be a hole in kind of the center chase area where your outside utilities will come in, and you set the slab and the whole building with masonry and roof, everything just on top of it. It's really a neat product. It's not. There used to be prefabs that were lightweight and kind of, a combination of fiberglass and plastics and different things because there was a concern with weight. Now they're doing full slabs. It is masonry construction that'll be on the outside, full roof and everything. So it's basically the same as a site-built restroom. It's just coming from somewhere else. They're able to completely set it down. So, probably spring soccer practice and stuff, that'll all be in. Practice facility, we did receive 4 RFQs for that, and we've shortlisted down to 2, and we're discussing proceeding on that. Melody's not here, but the benches have been delivered, and we're going to have Patrick work directly with her on locations. And then department financials. We're winding down our fiscal year. September 30th is into that, so we've got basically a month and a week or so left in our fiscal year budget. And we've been tracking along pretty well, and we're looking really good. I will back up. Benches have been delivered, and Patrick will work with you directly on locations.
Just in time.
And the fountains have been in on the new parks.
Oh, great.
Pflugerville Heights. And
Sorry, I had meet the teacher.
I understand. And then on to upcoming events. I'll turn it over to Pam here. I will say that Farmers Market's still ongoing. If you haven't been, come join us. We still have good vendors, a lot of people showing up. And then Pam will talk about Friday and some other stuff.
And if you could pass those out. Sorry, I didn't have those up there for you when you came in, but I don't have a slide. I have some numbers about the Firecracker Festival. I understood those were asked for last month when I was unable to make the meeting. So the best way to take a look at how things went or just look at the stats. The bolding, I'll explain a little bit about what I've done. You can see there's 2014, 2015, riders on the bus. I've bolded the ones that are higher. So it kind of all balances out. You'll see there's some columns on the right side in 2015 that are bolded, and some on the left in 2014 that are bolded. These numbers, riders on the bus, are from the bus company. So last year they transported 6,500 people. This year it was 8,000. I've broken out the vendors to food, the business, arts and crafts, and then nonprofit makes up some of the food and some of the arts and crafts in there. So if I can go through this with you. 2014, that 31 means 31 vendors who asked for 41 spots. So in all of those columns, what that means is that some of them purchased double spots. In doing the layout and doing the logistics, I have to count the number of spaces in order to, do the design, allocate the enough room for everything to be laid out. So you can see going left to right, across. Food, we had a few more in 2014 than 2015. However, we had more businesses in 2015 than we did in 2014. More arts and crafts in 15 than 14. And then in nonprofit, and I've got some asterisks there, of those 5, 4 of those were food vendors. So they're counted in that number 31 up above. In 2015, the double asterisk, 2 of those 3 were food vendors, and 1 was something else. So the total vendors, it's really pretty equal, 52 in 2014, 50 in 2015, but again, the 3 asterisks go to the bottom. I had 3 cancel. So there were 53, so we had 1 more in 2015, and you can see the numbers on the spots. Then the booth fees, pretty darn close, but a little bit more in 2015, and so that's the comparison. Do you have any questions?
Yes, now, last year, the population could actually drive to the lake and park some?
No.
Not at all?
I take that back. Not on public land, no. Last year, the Weiss Farm at Pflugerville Parkway and Weiss did have their lot open and sold parking spaces for $5 a piece.
Right.
And what we have this year in exchange for that, if you look at, the areas where there was parking, the new Sorrento subdivision was open and paved. So in my mind, though we didn't do a count, I couldn't be out there counting cars, there were all those paved streets there. We probably could have fit 400 cars easily up in the Sorrento subdivision, and people were parking up there. So if you look at it that way, that the Weiss lane was shut down, the Weiss home farmland was shut down, Sorrento was there. It was sort of a substitute.
So do you think that, I know it's hard to do a count
is.
of how many people, was there more people in 2014 than 2015?
And way more people
And
where?
just weigh it, people coming to the.
We don't do a count. I don't think so. I think we had more in 2015, frankly, because we were packed. We were crowded. The evening was like wall-to-wall people. We couldn't get golf carts through. We had more buses. We had 42 buses instead of 36 last year. They were constantly moving, full, at most of the time, getting people out of there. I couldn't see all the buses from my vantage point, but.
Okay. And I talked to a bunch of people about it, and I think one of the things that most people mentioned were the disjointed of the activities, that either you did this side or you did that side. You didn't really do both sides, and they didn't like that because their kids would kind of go off to the other side or whatnot, and they couldn't find each other. I don't know, I just thought I'd mention it. That's what I've heard when I've talked to, a bunch of different people.
I'm
about
not
it.
sure what that would be, because we had bounce houses both on the north side and both on the south side. We had vendors both on the north side and both on the south side. The north has the advantage of the beach, so there is not a beach on the south, although people can get in the water. We had a stage on the north and a stage on the south.
Yeah, not saying that one was good and one was bad.
Right.
They were just saying that it was, their families, would tend to spread apart where it wasn't all in one spot. Just, food for thought.
Yeah, that's why we leave the dam road, the road over the dam open so people can go back and forth, so.
They were just saying it was just a really far distance between the activities. That's what I've heard.
And it's been like that for
That's the nature.
years. It's the nature of the
yeah.
I
lake.
mean, it's quite a haul between the two.
It is.
And, I see if I'm a teenager and go with my parents, I'm probably gonna get.
I would go to the other side myself.
My parents
It
probably
doesn't
don't
matter
wanna be
what the
Loved
activity
it.
is.
The parents did not. So, I don't know if there was, some options that we, would put it all in one, one area.
Yeah.
Just a thought. What I've heard, feedback, as I, chit chat with people now and again about how the festival went. Can you tell us about, the actual 4th of July and what happened at the lake?
I
on
was
the
not
4th of
there.
July?
I have been told that it was just as crowded at the lake on Saturday as it had been on Friday. Police were out there. It was open to the public, and it was packed from what I'm told.
So were there-
Yeah, north and south is what I understand. That, yeah, people were all over. It was a holiday, they were out at the lake. So,
Okay, so why were the police there?
to help, just to watch the crowds, and they usually do that as part of their patrols. The lake is a city facility,
Oh, they
so.
weren't called out?
I am not aware that they were, no, that I'd have to talk to the police officer. They don't report directly to me. We did have a wrap-up meeting. Do you have any information, Trey, as an assistant city manager, on?
I don't, it's faded.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Actually, I'm out there quite a bit at the lake, and I see the police out there just patrolling because there's been a few break-ins, but they just,
Right.
a lot of times they just go over there and finish paperwork, whatever they do on the computer. So they might have a presence, but anytime you have a large group of people, they need to have a presence, and that's part of what it is, anytime there's a large group of people, just in case. But they do a good job of, yeah.
It's a holiday weekend.
It's a holiday
So, yeah, I
weekend,
mean,
yeah.
just
Well,
be out.
The reason why I asked is I was having a casual conversation, it wasn't on the books or anything, with a police officer that said that they had a lot of calls and there was a lot of problems out there. That's why I was asking, is there any official report? Because it was not official, it was not I going into the office and getting, but they said that they got called out a lot and there was a lot of problems. So,
Okay.
whether, that's not an official report, maybe we should ask, the police, hey, was that an issue to have,
I would think that's also
it
probably
not
true for
monitored.
any holiday weekend.
Exactly.
I mean,
It's nothing we can control.
Yeah.
It's a public open lake. But if you would like us to get the police report, and it sounds like you have more information than I do, I will see if Chief Hooker has a report that we can get and email it to you. I have
guess
nothing.
My main reason is, I really think that the 4th of July is the 4th of July, and it should be on the 4th of July. And having it not, having a function there, has a tendency to get it out of control. So maybe if we had 4th of July on the 4th of July, it would be in control.
I don't know how to answer that.
That's all I have to say.
The lake is always open, yeah.
I was going to say too, the volunteers, the parking for the volunteers was awesome. And I heard so many people saying that was the best benefit. I know my mom volunteered in the morning. We were out of town in the morning, but we came racing back and she was so proud of having her parking and drove the whole family out there, and it was a wonderful benefit. That I think, everybody who did it, that was incentive enough. They'll be back, and they're going to tell other friends. So
Thank you.
that was great. Yeah.
It's a group effort. It's not only me. It's the
Yeah,
whole
it was
planning committee
wonderful.
and,
I got a couple of questions about
Okay.
your vendors out there.
all right.
Did you have a lot of the same vendors from last year as this year?
Some come back. They're the ones who come to Chili Fest. They come to Firecracker Festival. I had a guy from New Mexico, had a couple from Houston that had never been here, never knew about the lake. Word gets out, they know, so they come from Colleen. I do have a list in my office. We do have records. But
Seeing that you had as many as last year, as you did this year, that I'm assuming they were pleased with the sales they're doing over there?
I did do a follow-up survey. I didn't even think to bring that with me. Some people, let me think a minute. I probably got a third of the responses back. Oh, I haven't looked at it since, July. I'm on to Chili Fest. There were some people who said they sold more than they thought they would, some who said they sold what they expected to, and some who said, no, they sold the least amount. I know there was one gentleman who was a photographer who had prints who had never been to our event, and he had a lot of lookers and a lot of people who took his business cards. I remember his comment from his survey, but they weren't willing to carry the stuff with them. They didn't want to have it. But he was there, he chose to be there, and he made the contacts. So hopefully, he made some sales after that. So I was surprised when he applied to be a vendor, but.
Well, good. I was hoping they were
Yeah.
happy and want to keep coming back. I think it's
Some
one thing
were.
for them to be out there, and
Yeah.
people love it. Hopefully it's a good benefit to them too, and everybody wins. So appreciate the job you're doing there.
Thank you, appreciate it. Any other questions?
I'm just going to bring up the one issue that emailed about earlier this week. Just something to consider. I'm involved with the Moms Club of Pflugerville, and the ladies in that group feel strongly that they would like to see more services available for young families, like a area for changing tables, or maybe for moms for nursing, where there's shade and places to sit down, rather than having to try to go on the ground or porta potties or whatever, especially if you have other children. So I just wanted to throw that out there as consideration for future events. As something that the city could either partner with someone to provide if they're willing, because the Moms Club is willing to do that, like at the upcoming Chili Fest, or to be something that to be considered by the committees or the event planners for upcoming events to look into providing something like that.
Thank you for bringing that up, because we have emailed, and I did reply, and you may apply for a booth space, and it's a $40 fee to have the booth. And the fees range from that's the lowest fee that there is that's the nonprofit fee. Food booths are $150, commercial businesses are $300. The PDA members pay $40, so it's not very much at all. And yeah, I've given you all the information. And
No, I know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying as a service that the city could consider just providing, or partner with something providing for free and to families with young children.
Yeah,
So
I'm sure
noted.
there's lots of organizations, charitable organizations, government organizations, lactate organizations, or, family planning organizations that might like to have
Absolutely.
a space, something of
Yes,
that nature.
and they could apply to have a booth, absolutely. They could be there, yes.
What we're asking is, would the city consider calling those types of places to say, hey, we're interested in having something like this, would you like to apply?
I will take it to the committee. It's because it is not just me. It is the members of the Pflugerville Downtown Association as well, because they used to do this event, and they're very involved, and it's not just decision-making process on my part. It's like a 8 to 10 member committee, so. And we meet again on October 5th.
Great.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so jumping right in.
I
Is
actually
there
have
any
one.
more?
It's not about the Firecracker Festival, but we just, we're going through the music festival on Fridays. Can you touch base on that, or is that later on?
Actually, yeah, we skipped right over it.
Yeah, we did skip right over it because you had a lot of questions. It's tomorrow night. Come on out there. It's the third week left. After tomorrow, there are 2 more weeks left, September 4th and September 18th. These guys are going to be great. This is going to be really good music. And we have a food vendor starting at 6. Dylan Haven's band, he's like 15, young guy. I know him through the Austin Blues Society. He also was on America's Got Talent, I think it was in 2012. And for a young group of teenagers, they're terrific. And then Clyde is like Porch Stomp Music, older group. They've been around for a long time. And yeah, please come Friday night. Then September 4th, you would ask me that. The Brew, who's very popular out at Lake Travis at the Oasis. Have to remember who the younger band is. And then the last week is Elizabeth McQueen, who sings backup for Asleep at the Wheel. It's a jazz night. And then Trio Verde. So that's the final 2. But the young band, I got to think of it, is Tiara Girls. Thank you very much. You win a prize. No. Tiara Girls. It's 3 sisters, 3 young sisters. Yeah. So remember that the theme that we did this year was young and older, young and seasoned, young and established, upcoming and professional. That's kind of, for the 50th, that was kind of the way I went with it. So.
Okay.
And we have, for food vendor, he's selling hot dogs and cotton candy and popcorn and corn dogs and shaved ice. So there's a variety, your carnival food. So.
Would you tell us about the movie night?
It was good. We had a few technical difficulties with the vendor, with the screen, but we had it worked out. You were there. Mm-hmm. It was
very
packed.
well
There were a lot of people.
It was a really great event, and I just wanted to sing,
Thank you. Yeah,
clap
thank you.
for you, because that, I think everyone really enjoyed that. I also, when I went around talking and passing out flyers and
Right.
stuff to folks, I chatted with them, and I asked them, how did you hear about this? And I guess there's some newsprint or something, or out on the internet, that they're finding this information, free events in Austin, and
Free Pfun in Austin.
Free Fun in
Free
Austin,
Pfun
we
in
pick up our
Austin,
stuff
that's
a
what
lot.
it is.
Mhm.
And so anyway, that's where several people had heard about it, and they actually, we've lived here for years, and that's how we found out about it. And so, congrats, I thought that was a really
Thanks. It was good.
well put on. Might have had a couple of difficulties.
Yeah.
It was a really long movie and went really late. I think I left at 10:30 and it was still going on.
I think it ended about right around 11-ish. Yeah, because
So-
it got started a little late,
But
but people stuck
but,
around.
I mean, it was
and-
a beautiful evening. It wasn't school
Mm-hmm.
in, and I think, they stayed. People, they stayed right through the end. So congratulations, that was a great
Thanks.
event.
It was fun, yeah. Good substitute for the other one.
Yes.
Anything else? Okay.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, I guess we are moving on to item 4B, staff report and discussion regarding Fun Camp. Miss Sheila.
Good evening, everybody. It's good to see all of you here today. So Fun Camp ended August 14th, and we had a successful year this year, and I am going to talk about that as soon as I pull up my little PowerPoint. There we go. So first I'll talk about Spring Break Camp. I'm not sure if I give an overview when it was over, but we went from 12 campers this year to 40. We looked at the transportation to see if it was a viable solution to add more campers this year to Spring Break Camp, and it was. So we went ahead and added several more than doubled. And our staff was 1 director, and we had 4 camp counselors. And what they did that week, they went to the Austin Zoo, they went to the Play for All Park, the library, and if you can see the picture of the kids petting the Shetland pony, that's actually at the library. They had them dressed up like little, St. Patrick's Day. They went on St. Patrick's Day. And they also went to the petting zoo that week. So on to summer fun camp. It's 10 weeks, and there are 4 age groups, ages 6 to 15. They're called the teens, the fireballs, Skittles, and Lemonheads. And there are 110 openings available per week, and those are full all the weeks. And we did a little bit of a generated report, and since 2007, Fun Camp has generated $987,374.50. And this year alone, Fun Camp generated $129,515.83. And to talk about the waiting list, Lemonheads did not have a waiting list at all this summer, and the Skittles, which are the 7 and 8 and 9-year-olds, they had about 1 to 2 kids each week that were on the waiting list. Fireballs are 10 to 11-year-olds, and there were about 4 to 12 kids each week, and the teens had anywhere from 4 to 15 kids each week on the waiting list to be enrolled with camp. So the breakdown for staff for camp, of course, we had our director, and that was the same director that we had for spring break camp. We also had a head counselor, and each group has a lead, which is kind of like oversees the entire age group. And there are 2 counselors for the Lemonheads, the Skittles, and the Fireballs. And we have 3 counselors for the teens. There are actually less teens, less number of campers in the teen group, but we have 1 more counselor. They go on a few more field trips, and so it's nice to have 1 extra staff member for that. And we also have 2 subs as well as 2 bus drivers. And we put the counselors in the bright t-shirts in case the kids need to find them quickly, or the parents show up and they want to pick up their kids. So the field trips that they went on this season, they went bowling, they went to Pinballs, which is an arcade, Barton Springs, miniature golf, they went to the skating rink as well as ice skating, Jump Street, which I hear is amazing. Even the adults, they said at Jump Street, were having a great time. Interspace Caverns, which I actually have, aside from the picture on here, the kids do their own little picture, so it's kind of cute to get these. You can see how much fun they're having. And they went to Reunion Ranch, Playful Park. The Fireballs and the teens went to Krause Springs, and the 2 younger groups went to the Thinkery. The teens also did their own, it's kind of like they say a rite of passage. Once you get to the teen group, you get to do a few more things. So this year they actually did some college tours. They went to A&M, and the director this year, she decided to kind of expand some horizons, and she decided to take them to a culinary school, not just a standard college. They also went to UT Austin, Texas State, and Temple Community College. They also got to go to Hawaiian Falls, and the weeks that they weren't going to the colleges, they actually went to Lake Pflugerville, which they loved, Graffiti Park, and some of the teens also participated in the Pflugerville Police Department's Slow Down for Our Kids video that they posted on Facebook, which they loved. They loved to do that. That was fun. And some additional activities that they did, they went to the fire department, and they did a talent show. They had themed lunches. At the bottom there, you can see that's one of the themed lunches. It was superhero. It was a superhero day that day. They, of course, went to the library, did cookouts. They go to the pools. They play games in the parks. And this year, they wrote thank you notes to the firefighters and military personnel. And here's an example of one of the ones that they did. This was for the military, and those got delivered to the military personnel. And I think that's it. Are there any questions?
I do. Now, when they show the numbers, just out of curiosity, that's how much money that was collected. How much money was spent? I mean, is this something that we net on? Is this something that we lose on? Do you know those numbers, or just out of?
We haven't closed out this year yet because revenues lag behind. Last year we made about $20,000, and this year probably going to be the same. So our cost to revenue is about 80%. So we're doing really well.
That's good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great job. So, and where does that money fall into the
General fund. It goes in general fund.
general fund? Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's what I needed to know.
You know, you see our limited 110 campers per week. Our major limiting factor is transportation. We're currently using, we've got a 15-passenger van, a 24-passenger small bus, and 44 big school bus, a big school bus. So we've got 3 different size vehicles that we're using, and it takes every one of those to move the campers during the week. So in years past, they've kind of addressed that by renting vans, but then we start losing money. It costs more to do than what we're doing. We're looking in the future of trying to add campers as we can, but like I said, our transportation is the limiting factor. This year, we ended up having to contract one bus trip to get all the kids to Reunion Ranch and back at one time instead of doing numerous shuttles and kids hanging out. And then we ended up working with the local bus company to get that done. So some of the things we're able to accommodate within the contract, but the way the fun camp's set up, we always want to at least make sure we're covering our cost. And so we're kind of limited on the numbers we can bring in.
I would be curious to see how much adding another bus to, help out with that, so that's not an issue. And I'm sure that the seniors could also use it. Is that something that, the staff would be interested in, getting another additional bus?
We've looked at replacing the small bus, which is 24 passengers, about $150,000 to replace the bus. That's just replacing. That's not supplementing, right?
Okay. So what if, and doing the large scale bus, not the small one, but doing, another large, like your largest bus? Is that something that you think that would be useful to not just the fun camp, but maybe the seniors? Because transportation always seems to be brought up again and again. Is it something that the staff is interested in having? Is an additional?
Unless we go to after-school camps and other camps, it doesn't make any sense to have another bus. If we do try to implement or create after-school camps and things like that, transportation is very important and would be looked at. But the way we're currently running now, it wouldn't make sense to have another bus because, for the most part, the big bus sits 9 months out of the year. We do use it occasionally for senior trips. But the senior trips are usually the size and scale that we can accommodate with our small bus, which is, again, I think 24. So, yeah.
And you were considering replacing the small bus. Is there an issue with it?
It's nearing its life. And we were going to try to add a little bit of capacity. But the one we have is working fine now.
Oh, okay.
But we had looked at replacing that bus.
Well, just keep us informed.
Yeah.
If you are looking for another vehicle, maybe that's could be something that we put up on the priority list.
I do have a follow-up question. So if the main issue is transportation and you want to control costs, obviously, what if you were able to get more buses through contracting and then you slightly increase the price by like $10 a kid and then added more kids? Would that be enough to cover the transportation so that you could increase your capacity so that there isn't a waiting list?
So transportation is the major one. Then also we look at our facilities.
Okay.
So if it rains, all the kids come into the rec center. Right now, it's almost completely outdoor camp. I mean, they're at Gillen Creek Park and the pavilion and under the big pecan tree is really where the majority of the camp happens. I don't think we can add enough with the facilities we have to cover our cost. If you look at spring break basically covered its cost. So I think we'd have to add a full 40 to be able to offset the additional cost with transportation alone. We can't accommodate 40 kids at the facilities that we're currently using. The pavilion, under the tree, also that many more kids swimming. Just there's a lot of things that go into the schedules with the field trips and even the swimming part. I mean, this year I don't think we had maybe one day where all the kids could be in the pool at the same time. In years past, that's the way we've done it. Had a few of those. This year with 110 kids, we couldn't have all of them in the pool at one time. So you have these staggered schedules and things to work through. And so,
So
much well
basically,
maxed out.
A lot more things
in-
that
yeah.
come into play
Okay.
than just the bus.
So, but basically, until or if we get a bigger facility, we're limited to the amount of campers that we have right now.
I think so. A facility that can handle a few more kids, then we definitely would do it.
Sounds like we're actually at the sweet spot, where we have the maximum amount of kids with a small, tiny wait list, and the maximum amount of money that we can get for the project. Actually, it sounds like you're doing an awesome job.
Well, thank you. And Sheila's the one that oversees the program, and her staff. We have great staff this year. We've been lucky to hire a bunch of good folks each year. But we know there's kids that get turned away. There's a lot of kids or a lot of parents that will not put it on the wait list because they'll go find something else. I mean,
They have to have something.
1,000 people, and the numbers we're running, we know we're turning a lot of kids away. They're going somewhere else. But, you know.
Well, I commend you guys for doing this because it's a very reasonable price for the amount of hours I've looked at camps and for what you do. And I think it's awesome service to offer to the citizens, and especially for those who may not be able to afford expensive camps. So that's just why I'm interested in being able to see it expanded if it's possible, because it's very reasonably priced.
And I don't remember if I reported on this last meeting when we talked about community development block grant. Carly, remind me, we had 28 campers that qualified and received scholarships for camp. So that's something that hadn't been offered in a few years, and so we were able to kind of bring back that program. So I mean, that's 28 kids that we know probably would not have been there. So we're
That's great.
Well, I wanted to jump on the bandwagon of kudos. This sounds like a really impressive, fun, and worthwhile endeavor. And even if the city is making zero net dollars off of this, and we're at least breaking even, keep doing this. It sounds great. So it looks really fun.
Thank you. Okay. Oh, well, looks like we're done.
And now,
But you just got here.
I know. Discuss and consider action number 5A. Discuss and consider action to place items on future Parks and Recreation Commission meeting agendas. Everyone got the reports that James sent about our future agendas from last meeting, so that's why this meeting is short. Is there anything else that someone wants to add to the future agenda?
I did want to comment on the, placing more bird houses and things. Is that something that would be feasible to also add as an element? Say we have, we can buy the leaves for the fallen warriors, we can plant a tree, we can plant a, do a park bench, but is that something that we could add to that list? Not our celebration, it's our celebration. But formally the memorial parks, but as our celebrations, and wanted to see if that has gotten a more prominent space on our webpage.
So can
Yes,
we
it
cover
did.
that with the director's report?
So as an option, you're just saying as an
Yeah,
option?
is it possible to have that as an option? Just tossing out there, I don't know if it is.
Why not? That's a great idea.
But, hey, a scouting troop might say, hey, let's say, we sponsor a birdhouse and, have them added over time, just as a thought. And then I guess the park, the ballpark, we're going to go ahead and help them out. Was the consensus on that one, the ballpark? They were asking for help. That was,
Yeah, no, I sent the email with the information about what we do provide.
okay.
Were there any other items to be added to a future agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
I move we adjourn.
Okay. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.
What?